Hi everyone, welcome back to Steve's Garage. Today I'm working on an all-wheel drive P80 Volvo, and I'm replacing the rear toe arms, track rods, stay arms. I've heard them called a couple different things, but they're getting replaced today. While doing some other work on the car, I noticed that the passenger side one was bent, and that can affect your alignment, which is why I wanted to replace it. The part number that I got for this off the bag is 9200005, and it's just called a stay. The job itself is really simple, but sourcing the parts is quite difficult. From what I've heard, Volvo doesn't make these parts anymore, so you kind of have to luck out finding them online or find them on the used market. Both of those are options, you just kind of got to keep your eye out. You really don't need much to do this. 19mm sockets, 17mm socket, 19mm wrench, 18mm wrench, ratchet, and I use an impact gun on one bolt, but it only works on one bolt, so you don't really need it. You might be able to do this with the car on the ground, but I didn't even really give it a second thought. Lifting the car and taking the wheel off is so easy and gives me so much more space to work that that's what I wanted to do. Start by removing the plastic piece that's clipped to the toe arm that holds the brake cable in place. Mine wasn't brittle and it popped right off, but maybe on an older car or one with more miles it would be a little worse, so just be careful. Remove the 18mm bolt that holds the arm to the knuckle. This is the only place I could fit the impact gun, you'll see that coming up, so you don't really need it. These bolts aren't on that tight. I wouldn't really worry about it if you don't have one. This is something I didn't notice until I took the nut and bolt off the car, so I'm going to tell you guys first. The washer and the head of the bolt are ovular shaped and they fit into this little channel. It's shaped like that to adjust the rear toe when you get in alignment, but because of that you're not going to be able to spin the bolt head, at least not easily, so you're going to want to back the nut off and not worry about the bolt. In addition to that, there's a groove in the bolt and then a corresponding groove in the washer, so that only fits on one way. The head of the bolt is a 19mm, the nut is an 18mm. Technically, if you loosened that nut a little bit, you could back the whole shaft out and then spin the bolt, but it's probably just easier to spin the nut with the 18. Also, I didn't worry about dropping the exhaust out of the way. It's just too much work for something that doesn't really need it. You can get the wrenches in there, everything fits. So I didn't touch the exhaust, I just used the wrenches. As you can see, they backed out fine. Again, these bolts aren't that tight. It wasn't that big of a deal. One thing to note before installation of the new toe arm is that there's a poly bushing end and a metal bushing end. The metal bushing goes onto the knuckle, the poly bushing goes up into the frame. There's nothing tricky about the installation, it's just a reversive removal, tighten everything back down, and you should be good to go. I'm not aware of the torque spec for all this hardware, if there even is one. If you know of it, please leave a comment, I can pin it, I can leave it in the description, that'd be really helpful. I think if you tighten everything down properly, you'll be alright. I did this over the summer, it's now February, and nothing's come loose. I would suggest you get an alignment after this because in playing with those little adjuster bolts, you could have moved your toe around a little bit, that can affect your tire wear. It's not a must, but just a good suggestion. Feel free to leave any questions or suggestions in the comment section. I'd love to hear from everybody who watches the videos. If you found this helpful, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.